What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to take 2 of Ninja-Eldlich. It's a cool take on Eldlich. It's a cool take on Ninja. It's probably the best that a deck that even plays Ninja can perform at the moment. I haven't made a Ninja deck profile in a long time, and I absolutely adore Ninjas. The problem has just been like they haven't gotten support in what 2 or 3 years, and the metagame's just gotten faster and stronger and scarier. So the deck's just been getting worse and worse relatively. So, but I love this deck. They really have some cool synergies. If you just want to play this deck like Ninjas at the best way you can, it's probably with the Eldlich stuff at this moment as just like a small engine. But we'll get into that as we go. So without further ado, let's just jump right in with the monsters. Starting off with the Ninja stuff: 3 Upstart Golden Ninja and 2 Grandmaster Hanzo. This might be a little bit surprising. You look, John, 1 Hanzo? Are you out of your mind? I mean, yeah, I am. But listen, Upstart Golden Ninja is better than Hanzo in this deck just because we have so many traps, and not just traps, but traps that immediately just like make up value. They make up for themselves and get the Eldlich engine running. So this guy's almost like a starter for the Eldlich engine as much as it is for like the Ninja engine as well. So he's really particularly good in this deck. Ideally, you want to open him with 2 traps. The idea is you just go Ninja, Upstart, send 1 trap to special a second Ninja. Upstart, ditch the second trap to summon your Hanzo. Hanzo will search your 3rd Upstart in case you want to use it as a normal summon for next turn. And then from there, you link into Grandmaster Saizo, the link 2 for ninjas, and he sets you your trap. So just off of that, if you ideally pitched like 2 different Eldlich traps, they would both be able to like get you back another Eldlich card. Which will set you up just to get that engine going, and now you've got a disruption while you have like a protected Saizo that's annoying to out as well. So it's a cool setup. It's a really cool like control thing, and we'll get into a little bit more of like the intricacies a little bit later on, but yeah, that's the main idea there. Alright, next for the other monsters, the only other like actual monster we play is like 2 Eldlich the Golden Lord. Whenever I combine Eldlich with something, I find it hard to want to play more than 2 Eldlich. I just do. I get it. You could lose to 2 Called by the Graves, lose to a DD Crow and a Called by the Grave, but like, you gotta weigh the risks. So yeah, I just don't want to brick too much on it, and yeah, it's also like above $100 card, so this is like the only card I don't have from this engine except for 1 other, and so yeah, wish I had it, but sorry that I don't. Hope you guys understand. I build too many decks to own actually all these cards, because otherwise I would just have no money. Alright. And then for the rest of the monsters, obviously hand traps. You got to play them right now. 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 2 Ogre. 2 Ogre could be something else if you didn't like Ogre anymore in the format. But Veiler, I think, is almost a necessity combined with Impermanence, just because they say no to Verte Anaconda, especially if you play a strategy that does struggle to out it. This is one of those, so we definitely don't want that to resolve. And yeah, you could definitely play like Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill just to play like 2 more copies of a card that can negate Verte Anaconda on summon. So that is that. Right, moving on to the spells, we've got 3 copies of Extravagance for consistency. It's just a great card. There's only like a couple cards that are nice in your extract, but you honestly don't need them. Even Saizo, you don't need, like, I guess if you want to do that, like, that combo I talked about, like, yes, it's nice, but like, even if you don't and you still have Upstart, you still can set up that disruption and the trap. You just don't set up the link monster, and that's it. But even so, we're still playing him at 3, so it's not even that big of a deal. This card's just great for a deck like this. It baits out a hand trap, baits out an Ash, it baits out a disruption going second. Whatever it is, it baits out stuff so that your engine can actually have a better chance of resolving. Speaking of which, we've got 3 copies of Cursed Eldland, 2 copies of Black Awakening, and 1 White Destiny for the Eldlich spells. Nothing too crazy here. This is just a great card to get Eldlich started up. This card is just a couple bucks, and also we do have a copy, me, Mike, and Chris. I just think Mike has it, and so he doesn't live that close to me, so I haven't been able to get it to him. And I didn't want to wait on this profile. I was really excited to get it out to you guys. So 2 Black Awakening, and then obviously the White Destiny. You got to play it later in duels. This card's like literally better than Sanguine, so yeah, we play it. And then the only other spell we play is just Rhoda. Like, it's normally getting you Upstart, but it just depends. There could be situations where you just want Hanzo. Maybe you just opened no traps, and you're just like, yeah, give me Hanzo. Let me just normal summon, set the trap, and at least have that disruption, because that can get the job done. Right, which takes us to our traps. We've got obviously the 3 Scarlet Sanguine, 3 Conquistador. I am on 2 Hawkero and 1 Guardian. These are our like floaty traps. These are mainly the cards you want to be discarding off of Upstart, because you discard them and then either on this turn or the next turn you'll be able to immediately like set another card and just continue to rotate those Eldritch resources, which is just so strong. And yeah, they're dope. I know some people don't like Guardian. It's fine. Like, if you want to play a 3rd Hawkero, that's up to you. I just think this card's cool. And I don't know, there's cool things like Upstart's really weak, but if your opponent like negated him, you could just like Guardian your opponent, make a monster 0, and now Upstart beats over anything in the game. So like, that's kind of cool, I guess. It could be fun to like beat over something with an Upstart Golden Ninja, 500 attack. So yeah, it's just basic Eldritch stuff. Like, they're good cards, so we play them. And then we get to the searchable like disruption cards. We've got the Golden Land Forever, 2 of those, and then 1 copy of Ninjutsu Art of Shadow Sealing. You don't have to play 2 Golden Land Forever if you don't want to. Again, this is a personal choice. I just think like some hands I'm like ending on Golden Land Forever like turn 1, and then if the duel still ends up being grindy because they're just able to play through disruption and stuff, or I'm not able to kill them immediately, I could end up needing to set another one to like seal the duel up. Like one of those situations where like my opponent may have a little small window to like climb back into the duel and like pop off with 1 more combo, or like, but if I can just set this, then like the duel's just over, like that kind of thing. So I like it at 2, but that's a personal choice. You don't have to play it at 2 if you don't want to. It can be bricky. And then Shadow Sealing. This card is kind of crazy. If you don't know what it does, it says you contribute 1 ninja monster you control to target a monster your opponent controls and banish that monster. While it's banished, the zone it was in cannot be used. And if this card leaves the field, you return that monster to that specific zone that it was in previously. So there's a couple interesting rulings with this card. 2 main things I want to note here is if this card banishes a monster in the extra monster zone, and even your opponent removes this card, the monster won't come back. It'll actually be sent to graveyard, because the only way a monster can be placed in the extra monster zone, I believe this is the ruling, is by being summoned from the extra deck via like the correct ways or whatever. And so because that monster is not even being summoned and it's not from the extra deck, the monster can't go to the extra monster zone. And because this card specifically says it has to go to that zone it was previously in, and it can't, it just is like a weird ruling where it just ends up being sent to grave. And then the other thing that I want to mention is if you're doing the full combo, like I said at the beginning of the video, where you're ending Saizo plus a ninja and this card set, if you tribute the ninja that's under Saizo, right, the other ninja, and then banish a monster in your opponent's extra monster zone, you've essentially extra linked your opponent. Now, this isn't as strong as you know, it's been in the past, because now that we're in Master Rule 4, people can still do Synchro, people can still do Exceed stuff, but a lot of that stuff gets like triggered, gets like steamrolled by going like Halki Fibrax, and if they can't even get to Halki Fibrax because of this card, what did they do? Like, probably nothing, right? For some decks. Obviously there are some decks that can work around it, but still very, very strong. It's a removal, but also potentially a lock. Like something like Salamangreats. You just hit a Sunlight Wolf in the extra monster zone, like they just lost, probably. They can out this, but they won't even get the Sunlight Wolf back, so even then they're like still like wasting resources just to out a card to not even get the card they lost in the first place back. So, you know, one of those things. But it's a really cool card. I'm just playing 1 of it. I felt like playing more. It's just a little bit bricky. I get it. You could like after that first turn set another one if you had more ninja follow-up, but I don't know. I just thought like that was like kind of bleh. There, which takes us to our last card. It's just 3 impermanents. You know, pair this with the other 8 hand traps. We got 11, which allows us to compete going second still. We just don't want to get full comboed on by Infernoble, Dragon Link, Adamancipator, Synchro Eldritch. We don't want to get comboed on by anybody, so we're trying to play a decent amount of hand traps to keep that from happening. All right, that's it for the main, though. 40 cards in the main. You know how we do. You know how we do. And then we get into the extra. So for the extra, we're on obviously 3 copies of Saizo. He's probably the most important card in the extra, but we play Extravagant, so obviously 3 copies of him. He's a really cool card. If you don't know what he does, he just says once per turn during your main phase, you can just like set a Ninjutsu Art card for free, no cost or anything. Just set one, just once per turn. This card's awesome. If Ninja's ever got like legit future support, like this card would be a guaranteed like huge part of the deck. He's awesome. And then he also says, while he points to any monster, not just a ninja monster, he can't be targeted by card effects or for attacks. So you could even just like summon a Golden Lord under him on your opponent's turn, or just to give him protection, summon a Conquistador, summon a Guardian, summon a Hawkero, whatever you want, and he'll actually like be untargetable, unattackable, and can kind of be awkward for your opponent, because then they might just be like, fuck, I can't get to that side zone. I want to clear him off the field. So it's just like cool little things like that. I like him a lot. He's a really good card. He just needs ninjas to be better. All right, then we have some generic stuff. The only other links I play are IP and Unicorn. Like if you just have like monsters randomly sitting on your field, you could just make an IP. To potentially go make a Unicorn on your opponent's turn. It won't happen a lot, but like I guess it could come up. So I just played it because I didn't like this deck doesn't really need its extra deck, so I just didn't know what else to play. Then we play some rank 4 stuff just because like. Especially after the first turn where you've searched like Shadow Ceiling, you've used it, you don't have any other search targets off of Hanzo, so what's the point of going Saizo? What's the point of doing that stuff? Instead, it just becomes kind of like just a rank 4 engine to just like, you just go upstart, summon out the Hanzo, boom, make a rank 4, and you just kind of like do that because that can like be good. It actually can. So yeah, these are the rank 4s I play. This is just spell and trap removal. This is just monster removal, or I guess any face-up card removal. Could be a floodgate, I don't care. Baguska, I kind of prefer Baguska over a Dweller at the moment, but Dweller's still not bad, especially given matchups, you know what I mean? Like, there are definitely matchups Dweller's better in, but there's also matchups where Baguska's better in, so you just gotta, know the matchup, go from there. So 2 of the more important ones, in my opinion, just because, extravagance. So if we need him to come up, like, we want him there. All right, 1 copy of Pleiades. We're still playing, like the multiple copies of the Conquistadors and Hawkeros and stuff. They're all level 5. Is a Guardian level 5 too? I don't even remember. Guardian, what level are you? He's level 8. Okay, so we only have 5 copies of him, but if you get them both on the field, like, this could be really important. What is going on right now? Oh my god, what was that? I'm keeping it in. Whatever. You can still hear me talk. You just can't see. That's so crazy. Anyway, Pleiades. He's just a good card, and if you could make him like good for us, like it's just one of those things. And then the last 2 cards. I play 2 Gustav Max, but I also don't have Lieb. So if you wanted to, you could easily just play 1 Gustav, 1 Lieb. I'm just on these 2 because I have these 2, but not Lieb. So it just is what it is. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. It's a cool deck. It really is. Like, I'm not going to lie, Eldritch carries it a lot of the way, but that niche, like, disruption can actually be so huge in certain, like, matchups. Like, if you just, sometimes versus, like, Adamancipator, if you just have, like, Veiler plus Shadow Ceiling, like, your opponent just, like, lose. Like, you just lose. Like, you Veiler the Halki Fibrax, and then you also just banish it, which also keeps them from going back into the extra monster zone. So they can't make Unicare, they can't make IP, it locks them out of a lot of the utility. Potentially they could still try and make a Savage or an Arclight, but probably not both. And it just puts them in a weird slot because they can't even like go into like Link Cross to try and like just get the tokens and get things working again. So it's really cool. There's just weird interactions, and like I said, like Sally's is like such a good matchup for like the ninja stuff, because if you just like banish a Sunlight Wolf in the extra monster zone, they're probably just like, well, what do we do now? What do we do? And they could just be in like a huge pickle. So it's a really cool deck, guys. If you love ninjas, and maybe you already have the Eldritch stuff just because like it's kind of generic, so maybe you just picked up the engine, definitely try a build like this out, and maybe feel free to tweak some things. I also looked at stuff like Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation. The problem was you had to play something like a Morphage Goliath, or like the Apex Avian. Like, you had to play a brick, but also you had to rely on your opponent giving you situations where you had the right levels to be able to like get that monster out. So that was like a little bit unreliable too. So I kind of felt like Shadow Ceiling was better overall, and also even going second, I felt like it was better too. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile, guys. As always, leave your thoughts down below on this. Now, of course, I'm always trying to like do better for ninjas, but it's hard, man. Like I said before, it's just a deck that hasn't got support 2.5-ish years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's been a while now, since Shadows of Valhalla, and that support was cool and it helped a lot, but the deck still needs some stuff, and the game just keeps getting faster and faster. So I hope we get support soon. If it ends up in like the OCG Selection 10, that would be so clean, so clean. Though I would love it so hard. But yeah, that's it there, guys. Like I said, leave your comments down below in the comment section on the build, any suggestions, all that stuff. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet and you want to see more deck profiles from me, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.